Welcome to the Creators Are Brands podcast. I am your host, Tom Boyd. This is the show where we uncover how storytellers are building brands online. And today we talk to Jasmine Watt. She is a TikTok creator and she has a full-time in tech. But we focus our convo on the subject matter that she discusses on her TikTok because she offers unique insights and perspectives on the state of social media. So I wanted to bring that conversation to you. And it was a fantastic conversation, to say the least. We talked about how TikTok is the new Facebook, Instagram ads. We talk about how TikTok is actually converting into email subscribers, how TikTok helps you grow on other platforms, what it means to be a Gen influencer, what makes Emily Mariko such a great creator, how to use the green screen feature on TikTok. I know it sounds simple, but I was trying to figure it out, and she helped give me some guidance on how to use that the right way. We talk about the importance of a strong hook on TikTok and how she structures them, and why being relatable matters more than production value on TikTok. It was a wonderful conversation. I can't wait for you to listen into it. But first, a word from our sponsor, Lumano. This is the platform that I use that makes working with brands and getting paid easier so I can focus my time doing what I enjoy the most, creating content and connecting with you. You've heard me talk about how we need to stop working with brands as one-off transactions rather to seek to build a relationship with them. Well, the way you build a relationship is through effective communication. And Lumano has a collabs feature that simplifies the communication process with the brand you are working with. Imagine having email, Gmail, Dropbox, and payments all in one place. So when it comes to expectations, deliverables, and timing, you can literally stay on the same page with the brand you are working with. Also, you can request and receive your payment from brand partners for no fees. So when you request your hard-earned bread through Lumano, an invoice is generated and sent right to your client's inbox. Then they are able to pay you right with the click of a button. So stop using PayPal to send invoices unless you're selling your used air conditioner to your neighbor. Start treating your creator business like a professional. Price what you deserve at Lumano.com.
Close people call me Jazz. You can call me Jazz. We're on a cool basis now.
All right, we're on a cool basis. We're friends on TikTok and now real time on the Creators Are Brands podcast. I wanted to have you on the show because I love you do a good job of highlighting what's happening in the world of social media via your TikTok, and it's a very TikTok way. It's raw and real. You're speaking into the the iPhone microphone just like this, and it feels like a friend is kind of recapping what's going on. And I thought it would be neat to have you on the show to talk about where TikTok is, where it's going, how people should and can be using it. And you make a bold claim in one of your videos. You said being on TikTok is the equivalent of paying for Instagram and Facebook ads. So we're coming in hot, but I love that idea. It's a bold idea because, a lot of people have been relying on that, building businesses off of Instagram and Facebook ads. How do you think about this, and why is TikTok the new Facebook and Instagram ad?
Yes, I could talk about this all day, as I do. Well,
Cool.
first of all, I sing about the praises of TikTok because I think it did quite a few things for a lot of people, right? I think it removed a lot of barriers for content creation, right? You can create everything in the app, boom, post it, all that in there. It's made video content creation so much easier. And also, it's provided a reach that we have not seen in so long with a social media app. And I think just based on how much creators have grown and brands are gravitating to the platform, there is an obvious need to ensure that social media platforms have the ability to still grow organically and have optimized reach. The only way nowadays to gain that sort of, new eyes, new reach, of course, if you hit the discovery feed, I think is what they call on Instagram. I should know this, but the explore page,
Yeah,
the explore page.
there you
I'm
go.
sounding old. I clearly don't use Instagram as much anymore. The explore page, or if you want more eyes on your content beyond people who are already following you, what do? You pay for ads to be served to, new people, net new users. So, when I think about TikTok, though, of course, everything hits the For You page, right? Everyone has a For You page. Everyone has the chance to have a video that gains tons of reach beyond who is even following them. So I think just the way TikTok is set up, it's set up to give back to creators in the way that they're going to see a ton of reach and scale on their videos and content. And to me, I think it's just proving that like that's what people want. Like, and if you can get that for not paying versus like an Instagram ad that you might pay for, that, I think it's doing wonders.
On top of that, are Instagram ads and Facebook ads even converting anymore? I feel like a lot of the people they're targeting are almost desensitized to, the old tricks of the trade of getting people to click through and see their post. I think working with an actual creator as a brand, or if you are the brand, just creating your own content and like telling your own stories on a platform that's getting organic reach. Like, I don't know how you can compete with that.
Yeah. Like especially, I would say everyone, but especially they're showing younger generations are even more like they have such a distaste for advertisement, right? Overt
Y-
advertisement, right? Because we're being marketed to
Yep.
every day. It's not that they don't like marketing, they just don't want to feel that they're being marketed to. And so when I think
Yeah.
that, right, I mean, especially in a space like Instagram or Facebook, okay, if you're scrolling, what are you doing? You're probably looking at friends and families posts, influencers, whatever, and you see an ad, it feels so disruptive, which I think the
Yeah.
platforms say is like in their benefit, but I actually think over time it's just taught us to gloss over them and just, I mean, I don't know about you, I never look at those posts on Facebook and
The
Instagram.
The only reason I look at a post is because I kind of like love marketing, and like if I see someone that is like kind of doing it well, I'll like click because I want to see their whole like all the touch points of their marketing campaign. So
Mm,
sometimes I'll click through. I'm like, okay, I want to see the landing page. I want to, but like, it's never like because I'm actually the selling is actually working. It's more just because
yeah.
I'm curious what their sales funnel actually looks like.
You're like on the research end, right? Totally.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah,
I was in my
yeah,
last job too. I would just look at ads for the purpose of seeing how we could replicate them. But it's
yep,
interesting you touched on like the customer journey. And I think one thing that Facebook and Instagram ads does do a really great job of for businesses is it's sort of like it's a great place for discovery and like awareness, right? So like maybe someone
true.
will just at least see the ad. They probably won't convert on Instagram, but then they go
Yeah.
somewhere else to look for the brand and actually do their shopping before they, and things like that. So I feel like it's a great place to just get it out there and maybe just get some initial eyes, but people won't most likely convert on the platform, which is what I think both of those platforms would want at the end of the day for themselves. So they've got stuff
Yeah.
to figure out.
And I'm also seeing I have two friends right now that are building legit just agencies where they help brands hire creators to create content for their Instagram pages. So they're basically like the headhunters uh for creators that are like looking that are talented that are looking to work with brands and just be their creators, their in-house creators. And they're getting insane results. Like just to have someone in house constantly creating on this platform, it's a brilliant idea. The other thing that I wanted to mention is it skipped my mind. What the heck was I going to mention about that? Oh, it's converting. It's actually converting. So the other night I was talking to someone who has a who went from 10,000 email subscribers, and she only has 300,000 followers only, but 300,000 on TikTok. She had 10,000, and then she made a video about this freebie that she was giving out. This video got like 1.9 million views, and she got 50,000
Oh my
emails.
gosh. I believe it.
Like that is a treasure. Like b- companies try to get 50,000 emails for like for a decade. People like
Right, right.
there's people building like big businesses off of that, and it's the health and fitness space. So I'm like, yo, you are sitting on a like a gold mine with these emails. And then I had another friend. He just posted a video, got like 34,000 views, and he got 500 emails. So like it's proving that people are actually taking action
Mm,
from this content too, which I think is the coolest part. It's not just like when I first started getting on TikTok, it was actually by accident. I was just like, oh, it's because I kind of had the mindset that like, oh, YouTube's more official.
mm.
TikTok or no, Instagram's more official. Like I want to be part of these worlds. And there might be still an argument like, yeah, if you're an established creator on those platforms, you probably have a little bit more clout. Like now, I think TikTok is catching up,
Mm-hmm.
but that was my mindset. But then I was like, you know what? I'll just take these videos and put them on TikTok, and then they just started blowing up. Like they started working on this account. So like once you get those results and you're like feeling it, and the platform's like supporting you, you're like, yo, why would I post my stuff anywhere else?
What's crazy, what I love about TikTok too, is they make it easy for you to grow on other platforms. I know people don't believe me, but they're like, when I say
Oh, they
just
do.
focusing on TikTok, like you will naturally grow on Instagram. Link your Instagram, put your link in bio, whatever. People will drive, like you will drive people just naturally because they want to know more about you. And that's the one thing that Instagram, I think, will always excel at, right? It's sort of like a digital library, and people can passively scroll back and see everything that you've done,
Yeah.
right? Like you get a lot more of a comprehensive understanding of what a creator does. But TikTok is a great place to start and get the cast the wide net, funnel people into your other
Yes.
platforms. And I think back to, yeah, the conversion piece, like I think brands need to start thinking of it that way, right? Like maybe TikTok ads aren't great at converting or, things like that, but maybe you capture someone and it's lead generation, right? And you're capturing an email and they convert 3 months later. Whatever it is, I think we can't think of the customer journey so like linearly. Like it can be all over the place now. But I
Yep.
believe, I mean, TikTok is such a great place to start. So that's amazing about those email lists.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I think like it's funny. Like I feel like I'm like selling TikTok on
Right.
this or on this episode right now,
I'm
but
like,
I
they don't
kind
pay
of
us.
am. Like yeah, no, they don't. I mean, they kind of
They
do.
kind of
Like
do, yeah.
I'm getting brand deal opportunities now. Let's go. But like, uh, it's funny. Like, uh, yeah. What's cool about it too is you brought it up that they play nicer with the other platforms. Like they literally let you
Mm-hmm.
embed your Instagram into your profile. Where
Right.
TikTok, no, Instagram, they're holding tight on to you staying on their platform. They're not going to let you go anywhere else.
Yeah.
But TikTok is like cool. Yeah, you like bring your friends, like bring your other platforms, and at least right now, they're playing that game. Who knows like how they change in the
Right.
future?
Right.
But they're definitely making it super enticing for someone to get started and then find like-minded people. Like for example, this interview does not happen unless we're on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that like as I put more content out, it's getting me in front of like people that like have are similar like-minded people that have similar goals, similar outlooks, and we can collab and share ideas and have fun conversations like this. Now
Yeah.
when you started on your TikTok, is this more of like a hobby for you, like, or is there like an intended goal that you want to build, like, kind of have a side business around with your TikTok, or is this just like this is like shooting hoops or like hanging around? This is like a fun hobby for you to like be on top of these trends and kind of like practice with storytelling on social media.
Mm. Yeah, purely a hobby, I would say at first. Actually, my first video that blew up that was like within my niche, if you will, I was just like frustrated with Instagram, like I said, and I posted about how I
You're
think,
like ranting.
right, it was my rant. I didn't even say I could help you with social media or any, I didn't offer any sort of services because I had none at the time, right? But
Mm-hmm.
people came for me and they said, "Hey, I need help with X, Y, and Z. Can you help me?" And I saw just like an influx of inquiries. And so I was like, I think I can do something from this, right?
Yeah.
So I remember like a week after my video blew up, I made a website with like services. I just like put together packages and I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer some social media consulting, opened up, like, published my website and started taking a handful of clients. And so since then, I would say my strategy with TikTok has been to generate an influx of potential clients that I could work with.
Let's
Um, and
go.
again, when I tell you I never mentioned, hey guys, like if you want help, I can help you. I never mentioned it once. In fact, I didn't want to because I just wanted people to naturally come to me. And I received such a constant influx, like that whole time, just from having it in my bio on TikTok. Recently, I just stopped doing that because of my new job, and I'm like, okay, I can't handle this. I don't want to do work after work. But that's
Yep.
been huge for me. So now my strategy with TikTok, it's been a hobby as of late, like as of like late as in maybe like the last month. And now I'm like, I think I want to go into more of like the actual creator type stuff, like brand deals, not necessarily working
Let's
with
go.
clients, but yeah, like working with brands, like that's what I want to enter into. So that's my strategy
Have you
now.
had any brand deal? Have you had any brand deal opportunities?
I've had a lot of opportunities, but I'll be honest, I've really shied away from them because I feel like I don't know about if you've experienced this, like the whole imposter syndrome. I'm like, I'm not a creator. I'm not an influencer. Like, I just make videos for fun and people follow me. Like, I don't think of it
Wait,
that way.
what you just said is the whole thesis of all of my content. Like if you
Yeah.
look at my content, like the tagline is shorts for creators. Like I'm honestly like what I've realized is because I've been making content for over a decade now, and what I realized is like you always get questions about like the technique, the tactics, the hacks, the equipment. And what I realized, the thing that's most consistent, that's consistent now, than that is the same thing that was consistent when I was started 10 years ago, working with big artists in the music industry to small solo creators. It's all the mental stuff. It's
Hmm.
like it's literally those beliefs of like I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm
Yeah.
not supposed to have the microphone. Someone else more legit is. So like and I'm still navigating that. So I'm not saying I'm a master, but I've definitely seen things that I feel like can help if I just kind of explain or help people give, ways of thinking around certain topics. So
Hmm.
yes, I can relate to that. So you're saying that like your headspace right now is like, all right, like, am I like, what gives me the right to do this? What gives
Right.
me the right to like have a voice on this subject?
And I feel like when it kind of happens, I'm not saying that I didn't think this could happen, but I didn't set out and say like I want X amount of followers, right? Like I just like
Yeah,
had
yeah.
fun posting. I didn't have
That's the
like a
best way to
real
start, to be
strategy.
honest.
Exactly. And so now I'm like I'm kind of at a crossroads, I feel like, with things, and I'm like I could really put effort into this, like more effort, and I could try and like actually grow this thing and make real like good money. And so
You
I
could
think I'm
make good
finally
money.
ready. Yeah, I'm like I'm finally ready. I think I'm ready to like
Let's
step into
go.
it. It's funny, people at my new job have like found me on TikTok and they'll like ping me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you didn't tell me you were an influencer." And I'm like, "That's because I'm not." It's just,
Uh,
but
w-
you gotta sit in the mindset that like, okay, if I was meeting someone randomly and I saw their page was my page, right? And I looked at their stuff, I'd be like, yeah, like you are a creator. So I need to just like
yeah.
own it and live it and like honestly kind of fake it till you make it too, because I think that's what we're all doing right now.
Yo, I don't even. Here's the thing. Like, that's the beauty. There's so much of it. Just owning it. The fact that like I'm gonna put this out, and some people are gonna like it, some are gonna disagree, some are gonna be confused.
Hmm.
But I think that that's what you do a good job of. You say, "Hey, world, here's how I think about it. Take Do what you want with that information."
Hmm.
And just saying that, like so many people are like they're so like both sides, they're trying to like not ruffle any feathers, but you're like, hey, this is how I think about it. And when you do that and you make like a bold point, even if it's about like something like a trend or like why something's working out, it makes the audience have to think, do I agree with her or do I disagree with her? And
Hmm.
in doing that, you get a comment either way.
Yep.
You get people
The
saying like, "Yep, right
engagement.
on," or like, "Girl, no, there's you're totally you're out of your mind thinking about it this way." So I think that's what you do a good job of. That when I look at your content, I'm like, okay, like I like to borrow inspiration from people. I'm like, I think I can like by the end of my video, I want people to know exactly how I think about this.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
and then you talk about in one of your videos, you highlight this concept of being a I'm going to try to say the word
Good luck.
a genuine influencer, a
Sure.
genuine
Yeah.
influencer. But what's the concept? I think someone else coined the concept, but it's basically give me a little bit more behind this term and this idea.
Yeah. Well, a genuine influencer, I can hardly say it myself, is
A
essentially,
genuine, oh, genuine influencer.
yeah, like
Yeah,
genuine and
it's a tongue.
influencer combined. It's
Yeah, it's not
extremely
gonna. That
hard.
word isn't gonna stick,
It's
but the
not.
concept is gonna stick.
I
The
see
concept
it
is
in my
going to stick.
mind.
So
I
that's
won't
why.
be saying it. But yeah, I see the
Yeah, yeah,
term. It's essentially
yeah.
this idea that, we are gravitating more towards really authentic influencers who maybe aren't putting on a face of makeup before they film, or they're showing you behind the scenes of what's really going on in their life. They're educating, they're not just inspiring, but they're talking about real topics in the world. And I think, it's more about being able to relate to them, right? I mean, it just feels more genuine, right? I think about like an Emma Chamberlain.
Exactly.
Everyone loves Emma Chamberlain. She was
Sh-
kind of the first of the kind to do that, right? Like
She was.
she was just talking about whatever you created this sort of like parasocial relationship with Emma because you were in like the most intimate parts of her life. She would wake up in bed and roll out of bed and like start filming.
Her
So
like full blown, just like
no
going with
makeup,
the flow,
right?
like yeah, just like her like tangential thoughts, like one after another. You're like, am I in this person's brain right now?
Right,
She
right.
has yeah, she had a really. I think she was one of the earlier ones doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anyone else before her that was
I
like
can't.
really showing her world the way that she was.
Yeah. And not even just like aesthetically, right? But I think even more so what happened last year, so like we're so much more like aware of what's going on in our world, right? And I think we've been
Yeah,
shifting more towards influencers that are looking to educate people who are on the cusp of like world news, or it doesn't even have to be that. It could be showing people how to do something within your craft, right? I mean, I think when
yeah.
people think of the
You,
word influencer before, they think of like the Instagram beautiful model type girl who was just posting about her skinny tea and her like makeup
yeah,
for the
yeah.
day. But now it's like that word influencer spans across so many different types of creators. And that's the beauty of it. And I think TikTok did help usher that in. It's like people were going viral and they looked a hot mess and they were saying whatever they wanted in their bathrooms. Whereas like before you needed like a setup, you got to look right, lighting's got to be good, edit that thing, right? There's no need for that.
Yup. Yo, there's no need for that. I think one of the coolest things is I remember Will Smith started vlogging, and he was vlogging like like actually vlogging, like had like
Yeah.
a little like DSLR, like really looking at the camera when he started. Then he started getting like a bigger team around him in his vlogs, and I was like, it's not fun anymore. It like
Mm.
felt really good when I watched this like mega superstar just like looking at a camera the same way Emma Chamberlain's looking at her camera, like in her bed, waking up. I thought that was like so rad seeing that raw, authentic side of someone like that. And I think that's how people are becoming their own stars just by bringing people into their world. Is there someone currently on TikTok you see that's doing that well?
Ooh. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily the first person that comes to my mind. She's pretty controversial. I think Victoria Paris is also like a Emma Chamberlain in her own right of like TikTok.
Yeah,
She,
I'd agree.
yeah, and I think genuine influencer again doesn't always mean that they're getting up talking about like this is my opinion on like what happened in the news today. But I think more so the fact that it's like you feel like she just again wakes up and decides to talk about something and just speaks her mind, like says what is on her
Yeah,
mind, like no filter. So I think she's probably someone who's like really popular in that sense that I would think is sort of like the TikTok equivalent of an Emma Chamberlain. I also think, again, she is a little bit more polished, but when it comes to the educational or just like more like less about gatekeeping side piece, Emily Mariko has like risen to fame recently, and I think people are drawn to her for a multitude of reasons, but also because you get to see something that she's creating, and obviously too that creates like a ripple effect of people wanting to like copy her and emulate her lifestyle, but also that like I don't know, she's not just showing the end product, but she's taking you along the journey. So I'm sure there's more I could think of. I'm being honest. I don't tend to follow a lot of influencers on TikTok or see a lot like
yeah.
genuine influencers I think that come up, but um I
Now,
think oh go ahead.
uh, uh, so what is she? Emily Mariko, is she the one that does the salmon and
Mm-hmm.
the salmon bowls?
Yeah.
You done a couple recaps of her, right?
Yes, I love her.
Uh,
She's risen to fame. Like she's got like
te
3 million followers in the past like 2 weeks.
what what does she do well besides like because a lot of people cook food. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people cook food on TikTok. Like, what do you think separates her content from other people's?
Yeah. I think here I'm blending both genuine influencer and also just the traditional, like what makes you successful on a social media platform, which is consistency. Like she's so consistent. You can go back, you can scroll for like hours on end looking at all of her content. It's formatted very similarly. That doesn't work for everyone, right? Some people can't just put out the same video over and over, just kind of in a different way, and it works well. But with Emily, it does. And I think just in general too, I think she crosses a lot of barriers. Like when it comes to like language, like she hardly speaks in
Yep.
her videos. So automatically you can send that video to people across the world. They don't need to speak English to know what she's making and things like that. So, again, she's still polished in some ways, but I do think she'll occasionally pop on and be like, guys, I have a newsletter coming out. I'm going to share with you where I get my knives and where I go grocery shopping. Here's my grocery list for the week, right? Like, how cool is that? If you want to be able to sort of like emulate that lifestyle, you could like go to Emily's newsletter. I'm sure she's generated a lot of email leads from that.
How
And
many followers is she at now?
I
Is she at
think
like
she's
a
at like
couple million?
4 million. It's insane.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It's
again, it's
insanity.
like kind of like I think of it as like anti-gatekeeping, right? Like she peels back the layer and it's like, here's what I'm using. I'll give you the exact list of my groceries. Here's how I'm making it. Like, have at it. And I think that's just really cool. Sort of like breaking, is it the fourth wall or the third wall? I don't know what
Fourth
wall,
wall.
fourth
Fourth
wall?
wall.
Yeah, like break, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I love the anti-gatekeeping idea too, because I mean that's sort of like I got into the music industry in like 2008, 9, and 10, and you had to go through gatekeepers then. And the people that I was working with, like we had to go through like the traditional route. We were kind of like one of the earlier people like kind of doing the hybrid route, like, partially putting out mixtapes, but then also like you got to go through a label. You got to go through all these people to like get yourself seen. And that's why I'm so passionate about like the independent solo creator, because like now I'm like, wait, like we don't need any of that anymore.
Mm-mm.
Like a musician shouldn't seek to get a label. They should seek to become a TikToker first, and then you
Yeah.
have an audience to put your music to. And there's no one that you owe any money or any licensing or any royalties to. It's so fascinating to me. I love that people can like have an idea. Like if someone is into bikes right now, they can be like within 30 days, if they really do it right, they could have an account with 50, 100,000, just going all in
Yeah.
on their insights around mountain biking, or pick any subject. That is such an exciting concept for me.
Yeah, like
And I have a
everyone
question
can
for you.
jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just say everyone can
Yeah.
jump in. And like I said, the content creation piece, it's so easy. You just film it on your phone, post it. Like it's like floodgates have absolutely opened, which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, so tell me about this is kind of a hybrid question. Tell me about your production process, because I'm looking at my production process right now and I'm wondering if it's a little too polished.
I
Like,
was gonna say yours is
I
quite the
almost
setup.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I almost feel like I need to dumb it down a little bit, because like sometimes I even notice like I've been experimenting with it a little bit, but there's something so natural about like just talking to your cell phone
Yeah.
that is just like different than talking to like an actual DSLR camera. So I'm curious, like let's talk about your the recent video you did highlighting it's Emily Mariko,
Yes.
or what's her name? Is
Yes.
that her name?
Emily Rico,
Why are
yes.
you laughing at me?
I'm just like because I'm like I love this girl and I love that people are
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you love Emily.
Yeah, yeah, no. So you did a video on her. Like, tell me about like from idea to filming that to how you filmed it in the app, green screen, to publishing it. Because like it'd be fun if someone's like listening to this podcast and is like, I want to have no gatekeeper. I want to put my ideas out there. Like, let's talk about that. Like from
Yeah.
idea to wanting to recap that to how you did it.
I actually talk about this in some of my videos, but my number one place where I start, well, one of the number one places that I start is the notes app of my phone. I'm like not super organized. A lot of my ideas come while I'm at work or I'm out like running errands, and I'm like, shoot, that's a really great video concept. Let me just like write that down in a couple points. So either that or I go and I do a deep dive on articles, see what's popping, and then I'll like, okay, let me link this. I'll literally use it as a background in one of my videos, and let me just like jot down some points of what I took from the article. So then from there, honestly, I've been trying to get better at having more of like a narrative throughout or an actual like kind of not plot, but actually plotting out what I'm gonna say, because in the past when I've just picked up the phone and said whatever, I found that people are like, girl, you crazy. So I'm like, let me like be consistent with what I'm saying. So I'll do that. I'll just like kind of write out what I want to say. And then literally I'm looking at where I film. I have a window in my room and I just like
Perfect.
prop it up right there, like put on a green screen maybe. You always see my bed in the background. If not, and I start filming. And honestly, that's proven to be just fine for me. It's funny you mentioned more like high production, high quality things because I'm trying to get more into that. I think eventually, if I maybe want to go to YouTube, I need to get on that. So I like need a little bit of what you have. But I recommend if you like need a mix, literally just pull out your phone and like try mixing up your backgrounds, try a green screen. Those are fun. I think those also tend to
Yep.
draw a lot of attention because it's something different and eye-catching and just like don't sweat it. Like just start talking.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's so you go right in front of like it's not you don't have a ring light. You're just like I'm using natural light coming in from my window. Boom.
No.
No barrier to entry. Like listen, there's no excuses, guys. Like you can make a that video's got what like 2 million views on it. You can make a video with 2 million views on it that people get a lot of value out of just by using your cell phone and looking at the camera and talking and sharing your insights on something you're passionate about. That's the coolest thing. I can tell that you're interested in it. You really care about it. So which green screen do you use? Is it like a specific one? Because you use the green screen where like it's like you're in like the lower hand corner, and then because like I go to that green screen thing, and there's like 20 options. Like what's the
I
go-to one to
know.
use? Does it matter?
Okay, let me tell you. It's just the basic green screen that takes over your whole screen. But what you can do is you
Yeah.
can take yourself and you pinch the screen and you can rotate yourself around it or minimize your or maximize your body on the screen. So that's how sometimes I'm like off
Interesting.
to the side or you'll see me
Yeah.
like in a random space. It's because I do that. I like those. I also recently started liking like it was just like a I've seen ones that are just like a square above your head that are really
Yeah.
cool too. I try and mix it up, but honestly, like I said, that's like as advanced as I get. I do that and then I add captions, I edit the captions, put a song on it and post it. Like no
And run it.
editing, yeah, nothing like that.
No, is there any timing strategy or like timing of the day, or is there like, and like, how do you think about that? Is it like, oh, I gotta wait until noon because people are out at lunch, or you just run it when it's ready?
Okay. I think naturally when I have free time is when I feel like majority of people have free time. So that's kind of how it tends to work out with my posting. People say there's not a science behind like posting times, but I think there is absolutely. Like I try to post in like the afternoon or like right after work. And I always think about, okay, if people are on East Coast time, is it going to be like super late for them or is this going to be something that they're like in bed scrolling on TikTok? That's what I tend to think. Like, when are people like when do people have the most downtime and are probably scrolling on TikTok, right? I think also too, just
Yeah.
as you produce more TikToks, there's an analytics page. You can literally see when people are most active. Because as much as TikTok will continue to push your videos out no matter what, there is still an aspect of like getting the video going when it first starts, you know? So I think
Yep.
I just try to do it during times when I know people are free.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm curious. So here's my thinking, right? I want to start incorporating more like just straight to the cell phone content. So my thinking was, all right, I'll do like my traditional 1 to 2 videos with a nice setup a day, and then I'll try to hit five like reaction type videos. And a reaction type video is like sort of what I say, what you did with your girl Emily, your homie Emily,
If she doesn't know by
that
now
type
that
of
I'm a
video.
fan of hers,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. But like 5 videos like that a week, where it's
Hmm.
just like, yo, just run it. Like that's how people consume content on the
Yeah.
platform. So it's kind of like a little mix of both the strategies. How do you feel about that?
I
Or
think
should I just stick with one?
No, I think diversify for sure, and even diversify more if you can. Like, if you
Okay,
have off the top of your head thoughts while you're like at the grocery store, like pull out your phone, start filming. Like, I
just
think
run it.
definitely when you have an idea on something, like go for it, run it. If it sucks, you can always private it or just leave it and whatever. But I also love that you touched on the stitching or the reaction because I think that's a huge aspect of the app as well. Something they really excel at is keeping the conversation going. So, you've seen
Yes.
it where a video does extremely well and then there's like thousands of stitches underneath. There's so many people trying to join in on the conversation, add their own narrative. So, I think that's a really cool way and those tend to captivate people like really well in the intro. So, I think definitely keep those up for sure.
And when you're making videos, are you thinking about the hook? Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, you got to think about the hook. That's the most important part. Like, is there any part of that, like, oh, you rewriting that or retweaking that different ways, or are you just kind of
Yes.
on the fly, just okay? So you're
The
thinking about
hook,
that.
yes. I've kind of just experimented in my own time. I used to always do the like, have you like always entering with a question, but now I think to myself like, get to the freaking point. Cut the fat. Like,
Yep.
don't be like, oh, I was on my phone the other day. Like sometimes those work, but for me, we talked about it. Like attention spans are shortening and shortening and shortening. And I want someone to know or have an idea of what my video is about in the first like 5 seconds at least. So if that means I have to cut out like an intro that's maybe going to give a little bit more context, I try to like I just try and cut to the chase or like a green screen. I'll have it up in the background of what I'm talking about and then I'll intro it a little more. But I think, yeah,
Mm.
the hook is everything. It's everything.
And you're doing all the editing right in the app.
Oh, yeah. Nothing complex. The most I'll do is add like
Yo,
a
I
sticker.
love it. Yo, I honestly like I love it so much. Like that I love when people like literally build brands off of just using their cell phone. I think that's the coolest thing in the world. Yeah, I just think it's so dope. So like I'm gonna experiment with that a little more,
Yes.
and then yeah, well we might have to do a part two and kind of look at what's working and what's not. So
Yes.
overall, in general, what are most people that you see that are just starting on TikTok? What are they getting wrong, or like what do they need to think about in order to make their content better? Is there something that you kind of see is a trend that pops up that people just kind of missing the mark a little bit?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tie it all together. I think when I think about like a genuine influencer, someone who it feels like you're peeking over their shoulder into their life or you're seeing a behind the scenes, right? And when we talk about sometimes high production stuff, I think you gotta be relatable. You gotta meet people where they're at,
Mm,
right? I think you can go on any other platform like a YouTube and get like an like someone with an insane setup and dope lighting and all this stuff. And I think with TikTok, you don't have to sweat the big stuff, like you can
yeah.
just meet your audience where they're at because I think that's like the coolest part. So even for me, I know there's been times where I've used like bigger terminology that I would use at work to talk about like, KPIs and stuff. And it's like that doesn't matter to people on TikTok. You got to be as relatable as
Yeah.
possible. So cut the fat again, like get to it and just also like speak to your audience in the way that they want to be spoken to and just like be casual. I think being casual will get you far on the app. And of course, you have great stuff, like do the mix, but start doing the casual stuff.
Cool. Casual, consistent. I feel like that if you do that, you'll find your groove. You'll find your place on this platform.
Yep.
Well, is there anything else that you want to cover on this? Is there any question like what like is there anything top of mind about like actually no, actually let's pivot it. You talked about your creator goals. What's something? Let's talk about this. Like if you could like kind of decide what your brand is going to look like in a year from today, like the creator side of you're putting out your content, what does it look like what's a big win that you're really proud of that you might have accomplished in a year from today?
One of my favorite things that I see from creating content is like keeping that conversation going and like building a community. So this is going to be very vague, but I want to build a community in a different way. And I think when I think about that, I think of YouTube, honestly. I think that's one of my goals is like getting on YouTube. I feel like it's a better place to kind of like house your community. You know what I mean? It just sort of feels like you've got this page of
You're
the
jumping
internet.
ship.
Yeah, I will be jumping ship. I will have the link in my bio so you can tap and get over
Okay, okay,
there.
okay, cool, cool,
But
cool, cool. All
I
right, just
think
making
that
sure.
this is where I see myself sort of headed. I've got to hold myself
Yeah,
to it now that I've said it out loud. So I think that and
cool.
just
I'm
continue
go-
to build a
I'm
community.
gonna hold you accountable. I love that. I love that. And I think you're you're headed in the right direction. I really appreciate your content. Whenever you drop something, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to know her take on this. So I think the more consistent you show up, and as you build that channel, you're gonna get a lot of subscribers, and that's my goal too. Like my long-term goal is to have it's around the podcast, not the TikTok, but the TikTok is what's giving me the most reach right now, that gets me exposure onto the podcast. So it's a very similar goal, but building a community around that, and just having fun, connecting with like-minded creators like yourself. So where can whoever's listening want to go and learn more or see some more of your hot takes on fun social trends?
Yes, feel free, give me a follow on TikTok. I'm trying to remember, I just changed my username to be cohesive with my website. I believe it's JAZ social, so Jazz Social _
Jazz
at TikTok. Instagram, don't really care about Instagram. It's more of like my personal friends and family type thing. But if you want to follow me there,
don't go there.
Yeah, don't go there. But _ Jasmine Watt _ and hopefully YouTube soon.
Perfect. I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for jamming out, and excited to keep the convo going.
Of course. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me, Tom.